You know, some people are waiting for Judgment Day to come, but Judgment Day is actually today. Look around and see what your life is like and what's it like, because that is going to tell you what it is that you've been sending out previous to now. So is your life in chaos and destructive? Then you need to think about your mindset and the mental conditions that have brought you to this point here in your life. You're not a victim. There's no one to blame for your present circumstances other than yourself. The Judgment Day is here. It's right now, and it's right now in this moment. And if you don't like what you were experiencing, you need to know that this has been previously set in motion through your thoughts, through your wants, your desires, through what you fear, or through your karma. What you have done to others will be returned back to you. So if your life is not great and you're like, you know, I just can't seem to get this thing going on in this area or whatever it is, or all these bad things are happening to me, then really, really take a look at yourself and take accountability, because nothing is going to change until you do that. So why do you have your present circumstances? What have you allowed in your life? What energies, and I'm talking about people or workplaces or whatever happens to be, what energies have you allowed in your life? Do they lift you up? Do they bring you down? You've allowed it. Either way, it's a choice. You made a decision, you chose to allow it. And you might think, oh, well, you know, I can't escape these certain energies. Yes, you certainly can, but you believe that you cannot, and so you cannot, because your beliefs are made manifest, and they will keep you stuck forever and always if you allow them to. But your beliefs very often are actually lying to you. They are telling you things that you believe, but they're not telling you the truth. We can believe all kinds of things, but just because we're believing it doesn't mean it's the truth. I bet that you know somebody that believes something and it's not true, right? And you're like, oh, why does this person act this way or think this way? They're believing something that's not true. And guess what? You do it too. But these people who were like, why don't this person see it? They actually don't see it. They actually don't see it. Just like you are unaware of certain things about yourself, you have an unawareness, and you actually don't see these certain things. But we will cast judgments and we'll say, oh, well, these miserable things happen to me day after day, or whatever it happens to be. And you're speaking about it, you're thinking about it, you're focused about it, and you're creating more and more of it. So what do you do if you're in the middle of chaos and you don't want to be in the middle of chaos, but you are? Because it's been previously set forth. Well, you need to change right now, in this moment, in this moment, right now. So you can do some little exercises. You can start lifting your vibe up. So when I very first started thinking about, you know what, I need to lift my vibe up. I want to be in that high vibe state. The way that I did it, and it was so simple, was just thinking about what I liked, right? You know, before we're like, oh, what's something that I love? What's something I'm passionate about? No, don't need to do that. Think about the things you like. Here's an example. Green grass. Freaking love it, man. I love summertime. I love everything about green grass. I like the way it feels. I like that it's green. That lets me know that it's probably warm outside and that it's summertime. I like the smell of it. I just like everything about grass. So I would take myself into this meditative state, because every evening, basically for my whole entire life until I moved down here, I would take a bath every single night. It was just the way at the end of the day that I could have some time by myself, decompress. And you know, when you got a whole bunch of kids in your house and you got a husband that's a whatever, and upsets you a lot, maybe you need a place that you can go and just be by yourself and cry and get it out, because you can't do those things in front of your children. So, you know, I just needed this time. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to use my tub time to my benefit. So I would go in there and I would listen to the Christ letters, love them, and I would just do meditations, which, you know what, I don't know that we should be doing meditations in the tub. You know, you might fall asleep. It was a risky, you know, I had some, you know, close calls, but anyways, I'm still going to tell you about it. So I'm sitting in the tub and I'm like, okay. And so I just go on this gratefulness, thankfulness, I like these things rampage. So how it started was, you know, close your eyes and I'm just thinking of the green grass. Well, then what hops on this grass is a bunny. Then I'm thinking, oh, I like bunnies. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like animals. Oh, I like the trees. Oh, I like the flowers. And it just went on and on and on. And one thought that would pop into my head led to another one of something else that I liked. Now, by the time that I'm done this, and I don't know how long I had done it, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20, that sounds like a lot if you're just starting out, but it was so addicting. I couldn't stop doing it. I couldn't stop. I just freaking was like, you know how nice it is to think about the things you like? It's great. There's nothing better. It's all the stuff you like. So I would do that, and I would meditate on this and then see how you feel after you're done doing something like that. Right? You feel freaking amazing. You feel totally fabulous. And so as I was doing this, what I was doing was creating a different vibrational field for myself. Right? And this was intentional. Everything is intent, right? But it was an intentional intent that I was going for. So I went in with the idea and the thought of I'm going to raise my vibe, and that's exactly what I did. So you can set that intention for yourself. Now, what happens when you do this? No matter what you're going through, no matter if you're going through the chaos and the crappiness, what you do when you do this is you temporarily, in that moment there, you lift that vibration up. So first of all, you start to get clarity about these things perhaps that are going on in your life, and they start not to feel so overwhelming. And then you can start to get clarity and start to see your way out. You can see that there is a better way to do things, and these better ways will be opened up to you as you raise your vibe. So I remember doing that one night, and I'm pretty sure I was probably listening to Esther Hicks along that time of the raise your vibe, do this, do that. The only thing she's missing is the real, true spiritual element in there, that the love of the all that is. That's the only thing in her teachings that I would say is missing, that element. And so it is through that lifting up your vibe and focusing on that I thought, you know what, I'm not going to allow myself to go into those lower vibes, not for any length of time. So now if I realize, I'm having a conversation. I was just talking to my daughter this morning. She's upset, with her dad. So, and we're talking for a bit, and, she's upset. And I'm like, you know what? We are manifesting at this level, though, right now. And she's like, right, yep, okay. And immediately we just change the conversation. And it's not that we're not resolving things, but us talking, her, saying what she needed to, me saying what I needed to, was not benefiting anybody. There was no solutions that were going to come from this. There was no nothing. It was just, complaining, really. And so then we recognized this and immediately put a stop to it. And then one of my best friends here, we got the code word. So if we're talking about something and either one of us notice that as we're talking about something that it's maybe not going to be not something we want to recreate in the future, or it's not in the highest, best vibe or interest, then we just say our code word and we both acknowledge good call. Yep, love it. And we love each other so much that we're not insulted. We're not nothing when we say this word. It's not like, oh, I need to hear the rest of that story. No, we are on the same spiritual vibrational frequency, and we know that this is in both of our best interests to just only speak and talk and create good, wonderful, high vibe things. Because as we do this, things shift around us. So, I'm living in heaven. I'm living in heaven, I'm living in heaven. I want you to say that out loud. I'm living in heaven. If that doesn't feel true, you need to make it true. And the only reason why it's not true is because of the trauma that's clouding your past. Because of the ways that you thought in the past, maybe that you still think now, because of those detrimental vibrational frequencies that you are sending out from yourself through the form of thought and words and actions. And as you're doing this, these things get returned back. They get returned back to you. So you can't sit there and complain about some narcissist person. Oh, they're such a narcissist, and they did this and they did that and this horrible thing and all this stuff. Think about how that drags you down and drains your energy. Even me just speaking these couple words about this right now for the last 7 seconds, I can feel my energy depleting in my body. I don't want to do this. Complaining and criticizing. I don't want to do this. I remember I used to, I'd go for a drive with somebody, when I first got down here, and I remember going for a drive, and they just like to complain about people's yards. Now, this is hilarious. You're going to think that this is how it goes. So this person would be like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. Meanwhile, their own yard was in shambles. So people complain and they criticize about the things that they themselves do and are unaware of. This same particular person would get mad, because, oh, this person's not doing this and person's not doing that. And they like to make a big deal out of it and complain about these people and the things that they're not doing when they themselves were actually the one that was doing it, and it wasn't even the other person. You know how many times I've seen that? Or somebody that, likes to talk crap about somebody else and say, oh, they do this and oh, they do that, when they themselves do the very exact same thing, because you know what? It wouldn't bother you. It wouldn't bother you if you didn't do it. So when we complain and we criticize, what we're doing is we're sending that frequency out in that moment, and it will be returned back to us at some point in the future. So do you want that? Probably not. Do you want more things to complain and criticize? Probably not. Maybe you do. And if you do, you got a problem. You got a serious problem, and you need to deal with the trauma that you got going on inside of you, because you're going to create hell for yourself here on earth. That's not why we're here. We're here to create heaven. So if you could do your work and you could do it truly in alignment with the divine love, then every good and wonderful thing, you will be prosperous. Wonderful things will come to you. So my friend Alex, he's living in Greece, but he's coming over to the United States to go take this course. And so we were talking yesterday, and he said that the guy who's leading this course is just this wonderful, wonderful human, that when he was a little kid over in China, that he saw, children or people without limbs, and he's asking his mom, why, what's going on? And his mom tells him, well, it's because there's cruel people in the world. So this man goes, you know what? I don't want there to be cruel people in the world, and I know the only reason why there's cruel people in the world is because they got trauma and they got damage inside them. So he went on a mission to help heal the world so that people don't have to suffer in this way. What a wonderful thing that is. What a freaking wonderful man. And he has been blessed financially, abundant, like you would not believe. Why? Because he is doing all of this out of the goodness of his heart and for the betterment of this world. When we heal our past traumas, we then don't project our hurt onto other people. Like when I had that very abusive boyfriend when I was a teenager, all the things that he did to me, I know the only reason he did them was because he was hurt. His own father left him. His own father would put his cigarettes out on his mom. He would do these horrid things, and this poor little child is witnessing that. He's experiencing that. He's living it in his house. And if you don't think that that causes hurt and damage, it does. And so for him to do what he did to me, well, this is normal. This is part of his world, and he's just trying to deal with the hurt that he's internally, subconsciously holding within himself because of his experience. So when I did finally decide that it was time to forgive this man, it was easy when I made the decision, because I just saw him as this wounded child and knew that this was the only reason that happened. So there was no hate, there was no animosity, there was no nothing. There was honestly this feeling of like, oh, I just felt I felt so sorry for him. I felt so much compassion for him, and there was nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive. Because it wasn't me that he was doing this to. It was, but he would have done it to anybody. This was him showing his hurt, is what was really happening. And it pained me to see it and to know this poor little boy had to go through that. Every little kid wants to have loving parents, and he didn't have it. He didn't get it. So when we feel wronged and we feel depleted in some way, our sadness very, 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 very often turns to anger. And it's displayed that way, and people are like, oh, what an angry person, but it's really hurt. It's really just pain, and it's really hurt. And that anger is such a powerful, strong emotion. It makes people feel powerful at the time, and so they use it rather than allowing themselves to feel the pain and the hurt and just cry, let it be. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be sad. Let yourself move through it. But you got to feel it to heal it, to move through it, so that you're not going to have to carry it and store it in your energy system. But if I was to focus on that man and blame him and be like, oh, these things, because I could make you a list. Would I do that? Never in a million freaking years. Why would I do that? Why would I want to pile on top of, what this person's already gone through? No, we just need to set people free. And as we set the people free, we free ourselves as well. Thanks for the lesson. Bye. And so once we learn that lesson, and we start to move forward in our life, we can be thankful and we can be excited that, hey, we don't need to learn that same lesson again. Yay, this is never going to happen to me again. Yay, but if we don't learn the lesson, it will repeat again and again and again. That's true because that's happened to you, hasn't it? In certain areas, just depends what it is for you, whoever's tuning in here, you've seen the repeat. And the only reason why this happened was because of your beliefs, but it's because you have unhealed trauma from that first incident, whatever it was. It could have been a parent thing, it could have been your first relationship, and then now you've repeated it again and again and again. And I will tell you this again, your fears manifest. It is a powerful, powerful energy. So if you go into a relationship and you are afraid this thing is going to happen, you have just created it. It's going to happen. So deal with that first before you get into something and cause that to happen because of the way that you're thinking. You also manifest your wants, your desires, right? The things that you have in your life right now. At some point you wanted them. Look around, all the stuff you got. Yeah, you wanted that and you've got it now, right? You manifested it. It's now become material in your world. And you also manifest the things that you have done to others. This is why, people will get so upset. Oh, this person's doing this to me and doing that to me. And you're like, you know what, man, I know you and you do that to people all the time. And now you're getting it back and you don't like it. This is karma. And it could have been something that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, last lifetime. You don't know where these things are coming from. Unless you really go into a subconscious state and examine and try and find. Did you fear it? Did you want it? Or did you do it to somebody else? The answer is 100% of the time yes. And if you say no, it's because you have unawareness or because you need to do some past life digging. Sometimes some things come back to us here and it happened in a previous life. The amount of times that this will come up in a session, especially if I'm working with somebody. So I have a program called the IFF, the Inner Freedom Formula. So we go in and we do deep work, like you're working with me for 9 months. And so we're doing regular sessions all the time. We're just going in and we're cleaning house. And so this does involve going to past lives because we can carry trauma from it. I had somebody who had severe social anxiety, like debilitating, came from a past life. They couldn't have gone to a counselor or therapist and talked that out and come up to that thing and healed it just through talk therapy, not in a billion years. But if you do subconscious healing, like I do with my clients, then you go in and, these things that are held in our subconscious mind that we are completely consciously unaware of will come up. And then we can heal them. And then this person, they met with me one time. And then they messaged me later, hey, I had this event I needed to go to and it was totally fine. I didn't even think, I didn't even consider that I was in the place, and I did, nothing came to me like it did before. They were healed of it. And this came from a past life, a traumatic past life, but that's where it was coming from. It had nothing to even do with this life. So they've been carrying this in their energy system their entire life. And I would say this person was probably in their 30s when they came to me. A lot of people carry a lot of things in their energy system and they don't even know. They're like, what? I don't know where this is coming from. I've just always been this way. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes it did happen in this life and it just happened young and so you don't really remember. But sometimes it happened in the womb. Sometimes it happened in a past life. And so the only way to heal that is through subconscious work. You guys know that the Mental Cleanse series is there. I have one for past lives. Go check if that's a curiosity for you. Go check it out. It will literally guide you through. It's like you're attending one of my groups. You can go, you can listen to it, and you can go and check out your past life. And there's so much that can come from it. Now, if something comes up and there's a physical feeling that comes up when you're listening to something like that, this is telling you something there. There's telling you that there's more to explore there. And so maybe you need to pause the video and you need to explore it a little bit more. Maybe you need to work privately with somebody to figure out, what is really going on. But that series that I got there, that can at least get you started. And if you're good working on your own, you meditate, you do all these kinds of things for yourself, then you'll probably be just totally set and be able to, find out all the information that you need to from whatever past life comes up. But as we're manifesting, our beliefs in our life, when we believe certain things about ourselves, whether they're true or not, they will become true. Like whether they're the truth or not, they will become true. So if you believe that, every time I get into a relationship, people leave me or they abandon me. Okay, well, you believe that and it's true, right? Because you've made it true and it's just going to keep happening. And if you don't heal that, that's going to happen in the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one, all of them, all of the ones. If you believe that things just never work out, you should never have enough money, then you're never going to have enough. If you believe that your paycheck only lasts, however many days and then it's gone and then you got to suffer through the rest of it, then that's what's going to happen. And you might say, well, but this is facts. This is facts, right? I only get paid this much and my bills are this much. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. It is 1,000,000% your belief about it. Because there are other ways that money could be coming into you, but you've closed yourself off to it when you believe that. You've put a limit on it. And I want to tell you that the divine loves you absolutely so much you can't even comprehend how much you are loved and wants every good and wonderful thing for you. And all of those things are sitting here just waiting for you, but you block them through your mindset. You block them through your mind. You tense up, you tighten up, your body, you reject things, you push things away, you don't like things, you complain, you criticize. And so those are the things that you get because that's the frequency that you're putting out. And you don't get the goodness that you're saying that you want because you're not in the vibration of the goodness. You're in the vibration of the crap. And so you're just getting more crap. So if you want to change it, you need to change your vibration. And the best way to do that is through healing your past trauma, because every person that I work with will tell me at the end of it, I just feel lighter. I just feel lighter. I just feel lighter. And it's because they're actually lighter. They aren't carrying that heaviness in their energetic system anymore. So when I went and I cleared that house, there was a haunted house here in town, and I went and cleared it the other day for some people. It took me, 90 seconds to do it. When I walked in that room, the heaviness that was in there was unbelievable. And by the time that I left, it felt completely different. It was totally light, totally light. Why? Because the heaviness from that soul that was, inhabiting that place that was there was filled with grief and heaviness. Oh, it was so sad. It was just, it was awful. And so this person, this person who was in here, this soul who was in here, I guess they didn't have a body anymore to consider them a person, but they were at one time, had been carrying that within their own body. And so for me to be able to experience that was actually kind of neat, because this, there was no body to contain all that energy, whereas, you could be sitting next to somebody that's sad, their body's containing that energy and you don't got a clue. But because she didn't have her body anymore, her energy was spread out through this place, and so I could feel the grief that was there, this heavy grief. But we carry that in our energetic system as actual heaviness. Every person that was in this house, I think there was 13 of us, all said the exact same thing. Oh, it just felt so heavy, it felt so heavy, it felt so heavy. And then they went back up and every person said the same thing. Oh, it feels so light, it feels completely different. Oh, I'd stay in this house now. Heavy, light. And this is all about vibration and frequency. And so when you were carrying that heaviness, the sadness, the grief, the anger, the resentment, all the criticism, the complaining, the judgments, all those things, that's heavy energy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. And when you let go of those through subconscious healing, and you actually heal the trauma that's attached to those things, the reason why you feel that way in the first place, then you feel light. And you feel this within your energy system, and you're actually lighter, and you're now vibing at a higher level, and so wonderful good things is going to come to you instead of that old chaos and that old stuff that resonated at that lower frequency that you were emitting. Now you're emitting a higher frequency, and so things are going to magnetize to you that feel like that are in that higher vibrational frequency, and goodness will come to you Just goodness, and expect it and believe it, and then it comes. But this all comes from doing inner healing. So I love you guys, and I'm so thankful that you tune in. And I just want you guys to be so good within yourself. I want you to feel so confident and so in alignment with the divine love that you can manifest every good and wonderful thing. You know, if you could start saying to yourself, I live in heaven, I live in heaven, I live in heaven, and just keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it and look for proof and look for proof, you'll find it. It will change your life. It will change the way that you feel. But the way that you get to that is through getting rid of the lower stuff. You know, things that are going to lower your frequency are addictions. If you've got any kind of addiction, well, it's there because of some kind of trauma that's undealt with, but it's going to lower your vibe. It's going to lower your frequency. Do you want that? Probably not. You need to deal with that. You need to heal that. It's time. It's time. You know it's time. Heal it. And as you change these bad habits and you change them into things that are beneficial to you, things that are in alignment with heaven on earth, then your life begins to feel like heaven on earth. And everything just changes and it feels so much better. And I want this for you, my darlings. I want this for you. This is why I made that mental cleanser, because it's completely free. People could charge thousands of dollars for it. I'm never going to do that. It's for you. I made it for you, and it's totally free because I want you to heal that trauma that you got inside you so that you can be living in heaven, because it's just so wonderful. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. See you then.